Welcome back to the Blockchain and Beyond podcast. As always, I'm your host Farzan. On today's episode, I'm joined by a guest. His name is AP, and he has built a protocol on the Algorand blockchain, which is a notification system which allows users to sign up to specific channels and receive secure notifications from that channel. And this is effectively to combat the attacks of like dusting attacks or attacks which contain certain messages which can lead users to malicious or insecure websites. This interview kind of just jumped straight into it, so here we go.
Yeah, so myself, Vidhyanand, I'm from India. So I have experience in I have done my masters in business administration, and then worked for multiple companies in here in India, basically in sales and distribution. So in between, while I was working, like one of my friend introduced me to something called a Bitcoin, and then I was fascinated because it was like fully open, right? So you can see everything on it is a open database, so it hit me like, yeah, what are things like you can do with it. Um so because I come from a developing country, you can say, where things are not transparent and there is a lot of corruption. So an open ledger always made sense, because it gives you that autonomy that you have always dreamt about. Then I started maybe investing a little bit money into Bitcoin, and then found out ETH. But I never thought I will be at that time. Also, I don't know anything about development. I know yeah, there is something called software development, and also because my area of interest was particularly very different. Then I we were working on another startup which was into printing, and maybe a print marketplace kind of a thing. So it was doing good, but during the time of corona, I think everything was shut down, and then print business moved into digital kind of a thing. So we thought that it's not prudent to maybe go forward with that project. And then that's when I found out Algorand. And we didn't want to just replicate another project in maybe ETH or something like that without knowing whether there is a requirement for that project, right? So once you build a project, you put lot of energy, your time.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we put into, right? It has been like 1 year since we have started building Notiboy. So what I thought is that we have to get feedback from the community. So me and one of my friend, Srirag, we came together. Then we were discussing what we can do. Then he was a painter. He's doing his PhD in arts. So we started like Angry Penguins. That's the time when bull market was at its peak.
Yeah.
So we thought that that will give us an opportunity to interact with the community in a better way. And then we never promised any utility for that.
Mhm.
And we were querying and doing a lot of Twitter spaces to know what is missing in the ecosystem. And then we found out that notification or a communication protocol is something that is necessary, because by the time we started, I think the number of decentralized applications on Algorand started increasing. There came Tiny Man, then the other DeFi applications,
Mhm.
and now we have a lot of applications,
Yeah.
right? So once the number of applications increase, it becomes difficult for a person to to have a to have a whole what are they to just have the interactions, to just note it down. It becomes very difficult, because if
Mhm.
you have only Tiny Man, yeah, you know, right, what you did in Tiny Man. But that's not case when you have hundred of applications. So that's how we came into this thing. So already had a friend who is a software engineer working. He has an experience in cloud, and also he has worked for best fintech companies in the world. So I asked him, are you interested, let us do this thing. So he's always a guy who is interested in doing things, something to learn new
Mhm.
things. He's very much interested. So I told him, yeah, this is the thing. So he learned, I think, PyTL in two
Mhm.
weeks. Then brainstorming started. Like one of my other friend who is doing his PhD in artificial intelligence. So we three people start
Yeah.
sitting together. Actually, we spend a lot of time. I think 6 to 7 months in just brainstorming,
Yeah.
how it should be done. I
Mm-hmm.
think coding has been done only for maybe 2 or 3 months. That's it.
Yeah.
Because like yeah, at the time there were no box storage, so we wanted to know like how to implement it in Algorand, and we wanted it from the day one. We wanted it to be fully decentralized. We don't want any servers to be running because
Mm-hmm.
that creates vulnerability. Now like ecosystem is very small, but once we, yes, we become a good protocol, then people want to do like yeah, come and get into our protocol and try to mock the system, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't want any servers, so that we are also safe and the people who are using our protocol is also safe. So that created lot of problems, like yeah, like see, you have to be fully decentralized and
Mm-hmm.
you have to build a protocol that everybody can use. So I think 6 to 8 months was spent on that, and then like we participated in the first greenhouse hackathon where we created our minimum viable product. So yeah, we knew that by the time we build it, like it is not scalable because the maximum number of channels that you can create is 30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when like we were thinking whether to maybe centralize it a little bit where you can store some channel details in a db or something like that. That's when like Algorand said that they are coming up with box storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think in December is like we have to wait some time. Like I think we were done with our minimum viable product by September. So I think we waited for 4 months, and then box storage came in and we implemented it. I think as of now, like we can create around 1,500 channels, and then we can link boxes and like increase the number of channels too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how like our story, and now it's going good. Like we we have our test net running, and testnet got around 920
Mm-hmm.
registrations, that
Yeah.
is unique addresses. I think many people didn't believe that we will reach that target. That's a huge number
Yeah.
actually. Now, we have got a lot of people coming from outside of Algorand and using our project, because we thought that we see, if you go to somebody and tell them please use our product, nobody will use it. So I was thinking, and also we were bootstrapping, so this
Yeah.
is like fully bootstrap project till date.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought like how can we like from the feedback and the like interactions with the community, I understood that some incentive is required. So got one of my other friends to maybe create a NFT collection. So it's called a Notiboy NFT collection, and it will be a puddle at first. And when you interact with our testnet, you will get a puddle,
Mm-hmm.
and when you interact with our mainnet, it will be converted into a boy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that created an incentive for a lot of people to come and use our testnet. 920 registrations. We are very happy with it, and now maybe it is like first 1 week of mainnet we got around 180 registrations,
Mm-hmm.
and it's growing slowly. Um, we are also looking to integrate with much more applications, maybe like yeah, and also we want to have wallet to wallet communication
Mm-hmm.
and other things to be integrated. Push notifications and other things will be coming soon. For that, like we are looking into maybe raising some funds
Yeah.
so that we can build on these products.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's now what we have done. um, I think yeah, it's going in a good direction, so
Mm-hmm.
as of now.
Yeah. No, I think, for people who might not be familiar with the project, I think it's, quite important to understand what you guys are doing. And what you've done is you've built a sort of decentralized notification system where you can actually subscribe to what you're calling channels, or you can subscribe to, certain accounts or wallets, and you can actually track which messages that they're sending to their quote unquote followers. And this is something which has showed up quite a lot recently, especially on other chains like Ethereum and Polygon as well, where people are being sent transactions with like scam links, which is causing a lot of people to lose access to their assets and wallets. But this gives you sort of like a surefire way to know that the message that you're receiving is actually from the person themselves, because you've had to specifically go out of your way to subscribe to that person's wallet address and receive their messages. So any message that comes from them, that it's directly from them, and it's unlikely that it's come from anyone else.
Yeah, so unless you have an access to that address that
Hmm.
has created the channel, you cannot send a personal notification or a public
Yeah,
notification.
yeah,
So
and
you have to sign the transaction. So it is impossible to scam. So yeah, if you lose your keys, yeah, that's the how
yeah,
like a scam can happen. We have done two things. So we understood with the interaction that two things are necessary. First one, if you anybody can create a channel, and we have so first we thought that we will not have a backdoor, but we thought that we should have a backdoor where we can remove channels, because see, a channel can be created and you can send lot of like maybe notifications that are against the policies of
yeah,
like common policies, right? Community policies. So if we found out such things, like we now have a backend like
hmm,
backdoor where the smart contract creator can remove channels. So that's legally required. So we thought that it's safe to have that. Yeah. So the other thing that we have done is that if you create a channel, we can verify the channel.
okay,
So we will look at maybe your KYC. That can be maybe
hmm,
enough domains or anything else like
yeah,
KYC that we will look into, and then we will add a V into that is
hmm,
also stored in blockchain.
yeah,
So if you want, you can just maybe query the blockchain and see whether the channel is verified or not.
hmm,
That's one thing. So that gives an assurance to the end user that yeah, this channel is verified. And then like the channel can send broadcast notifications, that is public notifications that anybody can read. But to send a personal notification, that end user has to opt into the channel
hmm,
smart contract.
yeah,
Then only the channel creator can start sending notifications. This gives an autonomy to the end user, so that if end user don't want to maybe get notifications from that channel, he can opt out of that smart contract and done.
yeah,
So we want to give out, that's all. Web3 is all about that, right?
hmm,
Maybe people maybe as of now people don't care maybe, but we care about like Web3. So if yeah, if you want to just make money and go out of there, a lot of other ways to do it.
hmm,
But Web3 is all about giving autonomy to the end user. So when we thought that once we build it, like we will build something that will be in line with the ethos of Web3.
yeah,
That's something that we were very sure about, and I think we were successful in building a product
y-
that
yeah,
yeah, that yeah, in line with that.
yeah. No, I think your product actually, solves a problem, and what you just described kind of is what I would imagine like a decentralized social media or decentralized Twitter could be, where on one side you have the aspect where you can put public broadcasts out so anyone can see them, but at the same time you can actually open a sort of private communication channel with, a specific person or a handful of people, which then gives you the core functionality of most social media platforms, whereas public messages and private messages. So I think whether this was intended or not, you've built like a solid foundation for your protocol to actually develop a lot further in and actually integrate with a lot of other potentially larger social media platforms.
Yeah, so and one more thing that we have made sure is like, see, most of the other people, other competitors, what they have done is they have created maybe a smart contract and they logged it to their UI. So if you want to use their protocol, yeah, or their application, you have to use their UI.
Hmm.
That helps you in maybe raising funds. So because you can show the analytics to maybe
Yeah.
the people who are investing, right? We have taken another route. So the problem with that is that so you will not grow because everybody has to come and use your UI. That's something that we understood from our research. Even you look at other protocols, I will not name them, like they have not grown. They have got a lot of investment, but they have not grown. So we checked why it has happened, and then we made sure that our protocol is open.
Yeah.
So if Farsian is having a decentralized application or a web page and you want to integrate, you can integrate our SDK,
Yeah.
and done. Like you will start getting
Hmm.
notifications in your web page. So anybody can use it. So like maybe in the future, maybe like maybe 10 years from now, like anybody wants to maybe integrate, so like see, since it is open, so all the web pages or decentralized applications start integrating it, so that gives us a big spread, right? So
Mhm.
that's something that also we thought will help us out in the long term.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was actually just looking at your your JavaScript SDK, which is, yeah, I think, for most protocols that's such a key thing for being able to, get more awareness about your product out, because this means, your tools can be integrated into a lot of other websites. That could be, for example, NF domains may want to integrate it into their platform where, where you can see a list of all the notifications that you have received. Which ends up benefiting the user at the end, and it gives the freedom for developers to actually decide to use your tools rather than being forced to go and visit your website, which again lines up with the Web3 ethos that you want to sort of embody.
And also, we thought that see, there are better UI developers than us in the ecosystem. So if they integrate it, like they
Yeah.
can see. So the protocol, there is a protocol that is fully on smart contracts. So you can, if a UI developer is very much like he thought through and he is very maybe like creative, he can do a lot of things with this protocol, and maybe applications will come up in a way that
Hmm.
we have never thought about. So if Farsian wants, Farsian can only show all the notifications that comes from your channel.
Yeah.
That's a possibility that I have
Hmm.
seen. We don't know like what all
Yeah.
possibilities that will come, so we want people to use the protocol and be creative with it,
Hmm.
and that will give much more, I think, much more juice to the ecosystem itself. So and make the applications in the ecosystem more user centric.
Hmm.
And I think the other thing that we are thinking is if it is properly implemented, I think 1 million transactions per year will not be a problem for us.
Yeah.
So that's what we have calculated.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think that's quite an achievable goal. And this is also something that's, actually very achievable using Algorand as well, because I think we're all aware that, if all of those transactions happen within a few minutes, Algorand will probably not have any issues, processing all of them. So the fact that, you've built this system on top of a scalable network as well actually adds a lot of value. Whereas if you had built this on something like Ethereum, your end user doesn't actually get to benefit, and the cost of using the tool would be so expensive that it wouldn't be worth it, and people would just rather stick to using Twitter or Discord instead.
Yeah, so this is possible only because we are using Algorand. I don't think any, because
Yeah.
see our each notification that we send is an application call.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many blockchains can process this many application calls. So difficult for maybe we can't even think about
Hmm.
maybe doing it fully on chain
Yeah.
on other protocols.
So.
And if you look at other protocols, they are using IPFS or other
Mhm.
storage solutions for storing
Yeah.
notifications. Yeah.
So let me get this right. So if a channel has, for example, 100 subscribers, and the channel owner was to send out a notification, is that 100 application calls, or
Yeah, there are 100 application
100?
calls.
Okay.
It will be personal notifications. Yeah.
Okay, fine, yeah. So will it cost the sender 100 times the transaction fee, or will it again be
Yeah, yeah,
one?
it will be
Okay.
100 into 0.001 algo.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, again, that, is still a very reasonable cost to have a secure communication, integration. Um, and the fact that it's extremely scalable is I think really awesome. I wanna take it a step back to a few things. So, the first thing, or one of the things you said was, you spent 6 to 7 months brainstorming your idea about what to build. And I think I can sort of relate to that as well, because I'm working with a project, and hopefully I'll also do an interview with them soon. But yeah, our brainstorming has taken up most of our time, and then when we look at the timelines compared to brainstorming and business model, and then also development, the development timelines are so much shorter. because there are so many skilled people out there who have these capabilities to actually help us. Our development team will be able to do it in, perhaps a matter of weeks or months, whereas the ideas that we've been discussing, they've been going back and forth, round and round for, many months at this time. So do you have any experiences that you would want to share with anyone who's also in perhaps a similar position?
Yeah, so experience means, see, I will tell you. So, like you asked me, right? Personal notifications. So we were thinking, how can we, maybe, is there a possibility that we can send maybe like one time, or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
optimizations on like how to reduce the cost, but how to keep the decentralization.
Yeah.
All these things will come. So we will talk about these things. Maybe next day we'll come and see, oh, this is not possible, because that will be a problem for decentralization, because we have a lot of constraints on like implementations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be in the inside that constraints,
Yeah.
and then we have to make sure that we are weighting everything equally,
Mm-hmm.
so that we create something that can be used by everybody and is beneficial and is also on par with the ethos of Web3.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. The other thing you mentioned right at the very beginning about blockchain was, I think it's something that not many people actually, perhaps understand. But you mentioned that, Bitcoin was, an open, transparent database, and you said yourself, in India there's a lot of corruption, and again in Pakistan, where I'm from, there's also a lot of corruption. Local, it's everywhere, from the top of the government to the local governments, where there is a lot of corruption, and having a open database that anyone has access to. I think a lot of people, especially I would say in Europe and America, perhaps don't see that as much, because the systems there, they come across as a lot more transparent, even though there are still obviously cases of fraud and corruption. I think in other countries it's a lot more apparent, and I think those people have a much more stronger ties to what blockchain can actually offer them.
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of things like everywhere. I think we can see where blockchain can be implemented, and I think RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, has
Hmm.
already started pilot for the CBDC. They
Yeah.
just started, I think, and they are now very bullish on CBDCs, because they understood that, like, yeah, lot of, I think, costs can be cut, where
Hmm.
like they need not print money, and also like the RBI get direct control over the monetary policies, and also more tax can be collected.
Yeah.
Right, most of the people don't pay taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, like, when you talk to people from US and UK, they cannot even, like, yeah, think about such a scenario. So that's
Yeah.
when I realized that, yeah, tax collection make a big difference.
No, 100%. And I think India is also a very interesting space at the moment, because not even, I would say, Algorand specifically, because obviously I think some local governments have also signed up to do like the medical NFTs on Algorand. Even
Yeah.
aside from that, India is popping up a lot in terms of startups, and not even just in the blockchain space or the crypto space. In all industries, there's so much talent of people, and people who are willing to work really hard to make a really solid product. I think it's quite interesting to see how India has developed, especially over the past 5 to 10 years, to where it is now. um have you sort of seen that, being in the country as well, or what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think Algobharat has taken the right step,
Hmm.
maybe focusing on Hyderabad. Hyderabad, like T Hub, is having a lot of,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, lot of, I think, startups focusing on crypto. Like, because I studied in HCU's Hyderabad Central University, which is
Hmm.
very near to T Hub. So they are like ISB, and ISBs
Yeah.
were like these T Hubs, and like, yeah, it's very like nearby to us.
Hmm.
So yeah, I know, like what's happening. I think it's in Triple IT, so not in ISB.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Triple IT Hyderabad International Institute of Information Technology. That's Triple IT.
Okay.
So there is where T Hub is. So we are neighbors, so I understood like, yeah, what's happening. They have courses, they have a lot of things happening. One of the premier, I think, incubators in the country. So they we have now a tie up with them, and I think that's a great tie up to have.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of talent in universities and people who have a lot of great ideas, and the fact that there is support for them, and support for, I would say, Algorand specifically, for to help them understand and build, and I think Algorand has the benefit of being so cheap and so fast, where people can so easily create things and see if they work, and if they don't work they can easily start again with something new, because there's so little cost to actually testing your application, that you no longer have to make it work. Even if it doesn't work, you can easily move on, and I think that's such a key factor for innovation in our space.
Yeah, of course. So when we were planning to do our product, so we thought that that's why I was like, so people ask me why you need public notifications. So I said like, see, public notifications are much more necessary than private. Like, yeah, because when you consider cost, people, even see other people who are integrating our applications, they will also think about reducing cost. So if you want to send the same message to everyone, you need not send a personal notification, right?
Hmm.
That's how like that broadcast notifications came into existence. So like this all happened because we did a lot of brainstorming, and I think in India. I'm very bullish about like Bangalore and Hyderabad, where a
Hmm.
lot of things are up. Even in like I'm from Kerala, where like a lot of, I think, institutions are coming up, maybe offering courses on blockchain, and maybe in 2018, if we are thinking about blockchain cryptocurrency, people thought that we were scammers or kind of thing. So never, like I had maybe one or two friends like whom I can discuss about blockchain.
Hmm.
Now things are changing, like a lot of other people are getting interested in blockchain, how like even one some of my friends who thought it was scam now came back to me and said that yeah, it's a very good technology. So we are maybe in the next 6 to 8 years, maybe this will change, and I think blockchain will become very mainstream. And yeah, I think that's something that I would also want to see.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I've seen it as well. At work, where people are more, when you mention blockchain, people are actually receptive to the idea now. They've heard about it. They know that it has applications, and people are more understanding of the technology. So yeah, I agree with it. It'll be interesting to see how it develops over the next few years, as more people come into
Yeah,
the space.
yeah, I think NFTs have changed the scenario. Like
Hmm.
DeFi, how many people, like people who know trading, they will use DeFi,
Yeah,
but NFTs were like that. Yeah, when NFTs came into existence, like people started collecting. You can do, right. You
yeah.
can see, this pic looks good. It resonates with me. I can buy it. So like that. That's something. So I think music NFTs will bring more. I think mature crowd,
Hmm.
even Lofty, that yeah, I
Yeah,
am happy that like Lofty has now on ramp and off ramp. So maybe in couple of years people will not understand whether it's running on blockchain or not, so
yeah.
people just use their fiat to maybe purchase kind of uh, tokens or like
Hmm.
real estate.
Yeah,
That's when like blockchain becomes successful, because you should not know that, yeah,
the
there
technology.
is running. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think Lofty is like probably the best one I've seen, because even it's one I show to my parents, and my parents are interested in it as well. And my parents are in their like 40s and 50s, so the fact that they're interested in it, brings a lot of hope that there are a lot of interesting applications that can be developed for people to actually not care about what the underlying technology is, because that's the core of it. Blockchain is a back end technology. It's not a front end technology. It's not meant to change how you see things or how you interact with them. It just changes where and how your data is stored and accessed, which most people don't care about anyway. Most people couldn't tell you how their data is being stored on YouTube or Facebook or Google or any other website. It's not something people generally think about. So I think that's something that we need to focus on a lot more.
Yeah, and I'm very bullish on music and maybe the NFTs and their
Mhm.
applications, because if NFTs comes into movie industry, like that's going to maybe like transform the movie industry itself. I think movie industry can be even more profitable, and like collect, like I think collecting things related to movies become, I think it becomes more accessible to
Mhm.
even the common people.
Yeah.
So that's where like I'm bullish about nowadays. Like if you want to collect things, I think you have to have that network,
Yeah.
to have like maybe a poster that is maybe signed by say maybe Shah Rukh Khan, or maybe like
Yeah.
that takes, like I think you have to be in the network, or you have to be in the right place. But I think NFTs can make it even easier, right? So
Yeah.
that's where like I'm bullish about. And even I don't know, like how music will be. Like I think YouTube like now
Mhm.
have added a lot of new musicians, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, I think so it's very difficult for them to monetize things. But I think NFTs can make a big difference, especially um,
Mhm.
in country like India, where like more people would like to maybe come up, maybe start their own band, and then start monetizing it. That's a different ballgame.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there was actually an article today that Spotify is testing playlists that can only be accessed if you hold NFTs. And that instantly gives people a way to monetize playlists or music that they've put together, because people will want to listen to a specific type of music, and that's something they would potentially be willing to pay for. So the fact that we're seeing Spotify, who's one of the biggest music contributors or like streaming platforms, looking at NFTs, kind of gives you an indication of where the space is heading, and the potential that it can actually have for not only, I would say, for primarily the music artists, because in the industry they're the ones who are usually left behind the most in terms of how much they get paid, and how much they actually get to keep from their record labels. So I think that's going to be like a big shift in like dynamics of the music industry if NFTs are able to integrate properly.
Yeah, so the tokenization of assets is something that is a long term story. Let's see how things go like
Yeah.
here.
No,
Yeah.
definitely. In that case, I think been that's been a very quick half an hour. It's been a great pleasure speaking with you. And I'm really excited to see how you guys are gonna develop the protocol, and I'm excited to see how it will change. And I want to, I'm really interested to see how other people are gonna develop with your protocol, and make changes to it. I think that's the most important thing or interesting thing for me. So yeah, I want to say thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. For anyone who wants to find you on social media, what's feel free to just plug yourself.
Yeah, so like if you want to, yeah, if you want to directly contact me, you can contact me at the rate of Bitu Shaji, or you can contact the Notiboy project. So
Mhm.
both links are both the handles are available, and like yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
awesome. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll include those links in the description of the video as well, so people can go ahead and find you. Um, but AP, it's been awesome speaking with you.